Hey everybody, this is Cassie. Welcome back to my channel. I wanted to give you guys an update because I had my psychological evaluation done today, and it was done over the phone due to COVID. This particular psychologist was working out of his home, and so I like the idea of the phone. I was still nervous, like belly butterflies nervous, but it actually went really, really well. And I took notes which is another reason I'm glad we were on the phone, because I was able to kind of take notes of the things he was asking throughout the phone call so that I could share it with whoever happens upon this video. Because one of the first things when I got my insurance requirements that made me a little nervous was seeing that I had to have a psychological evaluation. Just that word, even though excuse me, I'm not have a lot in my past that would cause question, or my present for that matter. It was just the fact of, what if I say something wrong? What if, I don't know how to answer something? Is that going to be a reason why he says, no, I shouldn't have it? But I passed, and my husband had his appointment right after mine, and he did well too. So yeah, so the first thing, I'm not going to go through specific, like every single question he asked, because it was a 45-minute phone call. But I just want you to be prepared, because I felt like if I had known, had time to really focus on certain things, that I would have felt more confident. Now, I'd kind of had an inner dialogue from the beginning of this process of how I would answer a perceived question, how I would do this, how I would do that. So I had a pretty good handle, but I think there are some people that don't. So it was very, very detailed, but it started off with just basic questions like, what's your weight right now? What was your school? Did you finish school? What was it like in school for you? What kind of kid were you? Were you employed? Are you employed now? Have you ever worked full time? About your family, about, are your parents still alive, together? How many siblings, half, full, adopted, the whole range of things, I guess, whatever your answer is. For me, it was my father had passed away when I was 9, and my mom never remarried, and I have 6 siblings. So actually 7. Isn't that, yeah, I have a mixed family, blended, so it's really hard. Anyway, how old were you when you moved out on your own? When did you start putting on weight? Were you an overweight kid? Did it happen later? How active were you as a child? What was your menu like when you were growing up? How did you eat? Was there junk food in the house? And then he went through family history. Was there any addiction in your family? Is there any anxiety, depression, those types of things in your family history? Then he wanted to know if you had kids, what their ages were, how they were doing in school, and then about your home, where you live, how happy are you in your marriage? Because I'm married. If you're not married, I'm sure he would ask, how are you in your single life, or whatever the situation may be. And then the big ones was why do I think I'm overweight? What do I think got me to this point that I'm overweight? And how long have I been at this weight? When did my weight gain begin? He asked what thing went is it like a roller coaster? Is it like steps? How would I describe my weight loss and gain over the years? And life now, are there any stressors? Do we have family suppers? Do I eat fast food a lot? What my life looks like. And I asked him, I said, can I, is it before quarantine? Because my life looked quite differently then. And he said, yes, that's fine. So I answered the questions, as what it was before quarantine. And I did Just Dance with my kids last night, so my arms are shaking. So if the video is wobbly, I'm sorry, but my arms are getting really tired really fast. Let's see. Oh, if we had any financial stressors. I personally deal with depression, so he asked me some questions about, how often have I seen a doctor for that? Do I feel like my medication is helping? Those types of things. And then to the bariatric surgery part, which particular surgery was I interested in? How did I come to the realization that I wanted the surgery? And do I understand the change that's going to need to happen after surgery. And then he asked me what I thought my biggest challenge was going to be with the surgery. And so I said, I'm an emotional eater. So I said, not being able to turn to food will be my biggest challenge by far. But obviously, I just whizzed through those, but each one took time to answer. So that was about 45 minutes worth of questions. He did ask me in there, like, what things I had done to try to lose weight, those kinds of things. Now, I have seen some videos where they had to do like a questionnaire ahead of time, like 600 questions or something like that. I don't know if I didn't have to because it was a phone thing, or if only certain psychologists do that. So you may want to look into that if you're not wanting to do a big, huge bubble paper thing. But this was pretty cut and dry. He told me at the end of the phone call that he thought that the services that were already being offered through their program were enough, that I didn't need anything extra. I'm sure that, depending on what the situation is, the advice I was given through Facebook groups, support groups, was don't overshare. Be honest, absolutely be honest, because you want to set yourself up for success. You don't want to lie your way through it and then not get the help you need. But you don't need to take every little detail of everything that happened to you in your life. So I told him one of the big things, but I didn't share like everything that bad happened to me in my life. So they just want to make sure that you have a good grasp on how to handle things, so that when the time comes to have the surgery and your life completely gets flipped, that you'll be able to handle it, that you'll be able to deal with it. So I hope this helped you, and I will keep updating you guys on the process. Thanks.